An online matchmaking project in New York has sparked conversation across the country about the power of smell when it comes to chemistry and attraction.
The service allows singles to turn to odor as a way to find a mate. But how does it all work? CBS 13's Sharon Roget joins us now getting answers. Sharon?
Christine and Sam, well, pheromone parties have been around for a few years now, but more recently, two New York researchers started a project called smell dating. It started as an art experiment, but the concept is people send in their sweaty T-shirts to this lab, and swatches of those shirts are then sent out to potential matches. The point is to see if there's interest to date based on smell alone. Sound weird? Well, we put it to the test.
I definitely know scent can trigger feelings and emotions and memory.
Verna Solpizio is 34 years old, the president of the Chamber of Commerce in West Sacramento, and she's single.
I totally believe in pheromones, and actually at one point wore a pheromone perfume that I think stepped up my game just a little bit.
Verna is one of 6 participants, 3 men, 3 women from Northern California we brought to our CBS studios to find out what if dating wasn't based on just visual information. What if a person's smell can trigger Cupid's arrow?
No, I can't say I've walked up to him and said, "Let me smell you."
Meet Tim Harris, single, 28 years old, from Sacramento. He's the creative director of Insight Public Relations.
I don't find myself to be like a very sweaty type person, so I don't know, I'm kind of curious.
Tim joined Jay Rahimi, a 33-year-old sales associate from Rockland, and Mark Tibet, a 39-year-old senior systems engineer from Sacramento.
You wouldn't start dating someone typically based on their smell. So it's kind of a backwards way into dating.
Hi, I'm Dr. Zach. Welcome, come on in.
To help us with the experiment, we invited Dr. Paul Zach, scientist and founding director of the Center for Neuroeconomic Studies at Claremont Graduate University, and his associate, Dr. Jorge Barraza.
Pheromones are unconscious smells that we process. People actually can pick out who they're attracted to, at least partially based on smell.
This experiment was based on a New York art project called Smell Dating. Now, the way it works is each participant was asked to wear a T-shirt for 72 hours. They slept in it, worked out in it, with no deodorant, no cologne, just their natural body odor. Similar to the dating project, our participants had no other knowledge about who they were smelling.
Today we're going to use brain activity in 2 specific areas to look at whether people have an attraction response to smells, and secondarily, whether they have this attachment or emotional response to the smells.
Are you nervous at all?
I am actually mortified that everyone's going to smell the shirt and like a look of disgust is going to come over their face.
Joining Verna, Nikki Gallagher, 35 years old, a pharmacist by training from San Francisco.
As I get to know someone, I actually would smell their neck, and it was like a source of comfort for me.
I'm ready. And 49-year-old Tony Marin, a school administrative assistant from Dixon.
I'm a little nervous because, you know, you never want rejection.
The reactions were monitored through wireless sensors.
So we're putting sensors in our participants to measure the activity of the heart, the vagus nerve, as well as arousal responses like sweat in the fingers. We can take all this data and we built an algorithm we call ZEST. So we want to know how much zest these people have for each other.
The women were up first.
I think it smells good. It smells good.
It's different.
But one of the men's shirts...
How does it smell to you?
Oh.
Can you describe it?
Smells like BO. Smells
Okay.
like really bad.
According to the data collected, Nikki's emotional reaction matched her neurological response.
And when we looked at her brain activity, sure enough, that was very low in terms of her zest score for this individual. So evolutionarily, it could be because she's too genetically related to this person, or he just had really bad BO.
But things got real interesting when Verna smelled that same shirt.
I think it smells good. Yeah. I would say I was probably more attracted to this shirt than I was the last one.
Nikki was left stunned. Now, time for the men to smell the women's shirts.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I am attracted to that.
Kind of like a, I don't know, one of those scented candles in like a house.
Like Play-Doh.
Like Play-Doh, is that a good smell?
I don't know. I don't know if she's a teacher. I wouldn't kick either of these out of bed.
Okay, that's good to know.
But one of the women's shirts.
Nah. She's a little musty, and maybe she did work out really hard in this.
That's not a good one.
No.
No, why not?
No, that's negative. Really, like, bad socks.
But check out Jay's reaction to that same shirt.
It's simple. Yeah, it's actually got a nice smell to it. I do give this a 5.
The brain data for Mark and Tim for that t-shirt that they said they didn't like went way up. So they had some kind of arousal response.
In the end, we had the participants meet.
I'm Verna.
Hi, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
What's interesting about the results was Nikki and Tony both showed negative reactions to Mark's shirt, but Verna liked Mark's shirt.
It would absolutely convince me if somebody visually might not initially be my type, but, you know, scent and science said maybe it could be, it would definitely convince me to go out.
Mark and Tim were not really into Verna's t-shirt, while Jay actually enjoyed the scent. The only two people that picked each other's t-shirts on an emotional and brain level were Nikki and Jay.
25% of your brain is devoted to vision, but smell is very, very important. I think it wouldn't be a great signal all by itself, but in conjunction with other signals, like looks, like education, other things, yeah, it might not be a bad idea.
Dr. Zach says maybe next time you start dating someone,
Get rid of the deodorant.
Not a deodorant, Dan. Stop that spray deodorant.
No perfume, no cologne, and let your natural self be.
so perhaps the nose knows more about love than we give it credit for.
It's definitely another factor that you might throw into the dating wheel.
Dr. Zach also says there's no solid evidence to show that we can change our pheromones to make our scent more attractive, but there is evidence that all kinds of things affect the kinds of pheromones you give off. For instance, women during menstrual cycles and ovulation, their scent changes, and what they're attracted to may change.
That is really something.
Zest.
Right?
The name of I used to think it was just soap.
Yeah.
Now I know
Now
the
it's something
origin.
entirely
Oh, it
different.
sure is. Or at least it is in my mind.
You know, it's
Oh,
just
my
something
goodness.
to think about when you're dating somebody. You know, sometimes you might be attracted to someone and you may not know why exactly, but, you know, maybe that smell has a subconscious role that it's playing.
Okay.
Wow.
Good to keep in
That
mind.
is incredible.
Thank you very much, Sharon.